Hey guys, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you my version of pumpkin soup, and it's basically a very simple soup recipe. It's just pumpkin, onions and garlic, and then what I thought I would do is also add some chorizo and some fried mushrooms as well. And so this is the kind of food that I make when I'm recording music and when I'm on a budget as well. So I'm going to show you a step-by-step guide of how to make pumpkin soup, and hopefully this will be easy to recreate in your own house. I got like a quarter. This probably costs, I don't know, $2–3 in the supermarket, this pumpkin. And let's see. So do it in nice big chunks because pumpkin cooks quite quickly. So you want to do it in big chunks so that it doesn't kind of disintegrate in your hands. So it's pretty quick. Pumpkin is quite soft to chop, which is good. And then maybe this final amount. Step one, chop up pumpkin. Done. So I've got two of these, and yeah, I'm just going to boil the water and then boil these for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. So step one, done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just chop up a couple of onions and some garlic, and I learnt a few tricks with the garlic. But yeah, so basically chop up maybe 2 onions. The end bit is great because it sort of holds the onion totally together. You can chop this as thick or thinly as you want because it's all going to go in the blender at the end, but it just means the whole process is a little bit faster. You'll notice that the onions might make you start to cry. Alright, so each piece that comes out of these whole pieces has a really nice end, so I chop that off. And you normally end up with one end that's open and the rest not. So what you do is you chop one end, do that, and then it comes off really nicely and easily. And I love garlic, so I always like to chop more. I do is I chop it up. Now you can either leave it like this, but sometimes I watch cooking shows, and one of the tips that I learnt was to get a bit of salt, put it on the garlic, and then press the knife down. And the salt kind of reacts with the garlic, and the juices, the natural juices, kind of come out. So with a garlic crusher, you can't control the amount of juice that comes out, but when you do it yourself, you can actually control the amount that comes out. So you chop, then you squish, then you chop, then you squish. Depends how much patience you have if you want to do it fully, but I'll try and attempt to get as much as I can. So yeah, you get a really nice sort of juicy goodness out of it. I've not done it all the way to the full-on mash, but you can do it as much or as little as you want. And there you go, you have a really nice chunks, but also nice juicy bits. And maybe I'll put probably half in there, and leave the rest to maybe a bit later, to add a bit later. And next step done. And what I'm doing is I've not put a timer on, but I've just sort of let it boil, just kind of felt it to see how it is. I'll leave it on for another couple of minutes, and while I do that, the other addition to the pumpkin is, of course, the onion and garlic. And you let this go for a little bit. I've not added any salt to this because the garlic, as I was chopping up the garlic, of course I added salt. So basically it's you cooking it now just to let the onion go nicely brown. If I was roasting the pumpkin and onion, then of course the chunks would be big, but I'm frying it all. One more minute, I reckon. I didn't put in that much oil, using extra virgin olive oil, so it will still cook in the boiling water a little bit. So I've left it sitting there. The pieces of pumpkin haven't really disintegrated, which is really good, so they've kept their freshness, which is great. So these are getting nicely brown. To make them a bit more brown, maybe you'd add a bit of butter, but okay. Okay, so what I've done is I have strained the pumpkin and left a little bit of the water, the pumpkin water. I normally do this in 2 portions. Okay. Put the onion and garlic in. Some nutmeg, and I just grate that in. See the nice little droplets there. So I've done sort of a nice little part of the nutmeg. That's the first sort of half amount, and what I also will do is I'll add a little bit of milk, so you can use normal milk or lactose-free milk. And there we go. So it looks quite interesting for now. Because it's quite warm, you don't want to put too much. So. It's pretty good, so what I might do is add a little bit of chicken stock to give an extra bit of flavour, but it's pretty nice. So far, so good. Second final lot. It looks pretty nice. Then I can just add a bit of extra nutmeg. Extra water. And then what I do is I just put this second batch into the first batch, and there we go, we have pumpkin soup. So I put it back onto here, and now you have like enough. It's pretty nice. If you want to add a bit of extra salt, you can. If you want to add some extra nutmeg, then you can. Some more vegetable stock if you want, but it's all basically down to taste. But it's pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some red onion on the top and some nice fried chorizo, and then you have a really delicious vegetable pumpkin soup. Really delicious pumpkin soup, topped with some nice little tidbits. And there you go.